Blast me to the mortal realms! It's time for the Mad Merlins review of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer, issue 23 by Hachette Partworks and Games Workshop. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Stormbringer video. So today we're going to look at issue 23, which includes our Lord Aquilor on his Gryph-charger. Very nice model, but it's not from my favourite subline of the Stormcast. So I'm not too sure if I'm going to actually be keeping this guy or not. He does look kind of cool, but yeah, the Vanguard Hunters I never quite got on with. Yeah, so he's still rather a fancy looking model though. So, before we get into the issue, don't forget to, of course, like the videos if you are enjoying the content. And if you are, why not subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as it's the only way you can keep up to date with all my mad content. Also, don't forget to check all the links in the description down below, including the ever helpful Mad Merlins Patreon, where there is now a tier for Partworks supporters. So if you want to help support the channel for Partworks, be they current or future Partworks that I may be getting into, please do consider supporting me over on the Patreon page. But without further ado, let's get into this issue. So here we have issue 23. Let's open her up. Boom. So yeah, we got our model on two medium-sized sort of frames. We'll take a closer look at that. We also have ourselves an oak base to mount him on. And then we have our issue. So also in the issue, we learn about the Lord Aquilor, we learn about the Necroquake, and we have a brand new battle plan for us to play through. So yeah, pretty good. Let's take a look then at that frame up close, and then we'll take a look through the magazine. So here we have our Lord Aquilor on his Gryph-charger, and like I said, it's a pretty impressive model, really nice. Nice crisp detail on the fur texture on the Gryph-charger. And if we flip over, we got some lovely detail there on the cloak. Random bit of fluff. But yeah, it is a nicely done model. We've got two options for a tail, or is it two parts of the same tail? I think it's two parts of the same tail. Yeah, the other one goes on there. So yeah, he has two tails, which is very weird, but it is what it is. Yeah, we've got nice detailing there on the claws. Sword looking pretty good there as well. Got a nice lot of extra equipment. So he's got like a little climbing rope, he's got a bedroll, and it even comes with a small sort of throwing axe. He also has the Boltstorm pistols there. So he has one of those. Yeah, we got alternate heads, so we can either give him a helmeted head like there, or else we do have a rather fancy bear head with a nice big top knot. So if you're a fan of White Scars or Sons of Horus or Warhammer 40k or 30k, that might be a good source for a top knot there. But yeah, a few extra little icons dotted around to glue on, which is pretty cool. Yeah, like I said, I'm probably not going to keep this guy, but he is a rather fancy model nonetheless. Alright, let's take a look through issue 23. So here we have our latest issue of Stormbringer, or at least my latest issue of Stormbringer. So full contents for the issue, we have background on the Necroquake. We have a new short story entitled Venom. We have a collect, build and paint article for our Lord Aquilor. And in the play section we have the rules for our Lord Aquilor, as well as surface tension. No, not the song from Disney's Encanto, it is our brand new battle for the week. So, we have part 5 of our History of the Mortal Realms, and this is all about the Necroquake. The Necroquake was a vast magical disaster that almost consumed the mortal realms. Only through courage and sheer chance were the living saved from utter annihilation. Nagash, god of death, wants to slay all the living and to enslave them in the afterlife. He schemes constantly to accomplish this, and never has he come closer to this ultimate goal than during the Necroquake. So this is part of the early Age of Sigmar campaigns, and basically he tried to send a wave of energy throughout the mortal realms, trying to turn all the living into his undead servants. Yeah, it was thwarted, but yeah, he tried to draw a lot of the souls he wanted for his army from Shyish. But as they usually do, the Skaven turned up and spoiled Nagash's plans. They have a tendency to do that. So we have the Shyish Nadir. So this transformed the realm of death. We have a sacrificial altar here, a ominous bell, and the Soul Wars, which was the second campaign sent out by Sigmar. First it was the Realm Gate Wars he sent, now the Soul Wars, where a large amount of Night Haunts surfaced, and the newly opened Sacrosanct Chamber was unleashed to deal with this rather magical focused threat. So moving on then, we got a story. While our main character, Illyria, is off doing Stormcast things, the orcs are gathering their foul fellows. Illyria's Swiftwind may have driven the orcs back, but what became of them after her reforging? As Illyria trains an Azir for her next assignment, Gonrog City Eater faces challenges of his own. In this first installment of a new serialized story, follow the war for Gur from the bestial perspective of the Krulvoi's orcs. So yeah, rather nice short story. First part anyway. And yeah, focuses on the orcs and what happened to them after their defeat by Illyria in our first stories. So yeah, really quite a nice little read. And gives you plenty of chance to talk in orc. So yeah, pretty cool. And yeah, to be continued, so it's definitely a part 1. Right, moving on, we got a battle record for our Lord Aquilor, and a little bit of information about him as well. So, a Lord Aquilor is a master of lightning warfare, drawn from the most cunning adventurers and explorers of the mortal realms. Mounted atop a swift griff charger, these champions of guerrilla warfare ride in and unleash their fury, then dash away before the enemy can react. So he is part of the Vanguard Auxiliary Chamber, which is a sub-chamber of the Warrior class, and these are ones that deal with scouting enemy positions, taming the beasts that a lot of the other Stormcasts will eventually ride. And yeah, so as usual, we got our table chart here, so we can roll his heroic origins and his particular trait. And then we can use our normal table on page 1 to name our Lord Aquilor. And we can see him here with some of the other Vanguard models. We got a few of these in Mortal Realms. We got the Raptors, and we also got some of the Vanguard Hunters, but we got them in the form of the Underworld's Warband. Yeah, we got the Griff Chargers, Griff Paladors, I think they're called, which have Vanguard Hunters riding Griff Chargers there. Yeah, really cool looking models. And yeah, I do like the Paladors, they look pretty cool. But I'm probably not the biggest fan of them. I don't know what it is, but it seems like they had too thick armour to be what they were. They could have done with something a little thinner like what we have now in the way of Stormcast armor. Who knows, perhaps we will get a new version of these guys with the newest mark of the armor that they wear, the Thunderstrike armor. Moving on then, we have our build guide. So here's a multi-part model. You will need your glue. Just take time, apply gently, not too much, as you may damage your components. And you want to start building up your model. So we've got one half, we've got the underbelly, the saddle and the tail. The other half of the legs, the start of the neck and the second tail there. We're building and gluing on the front claws. The front of the saddle there, little Aether compass. They got the saddle bag on the back there, or the bedroll, sorry, not saddle bag. Yeah, gluing on the other half of the head. Adding on all the extra details of the front plate, the head crest. And then we're building up the rider. And then we got the choice of two heads, with or without the helm. And then we glue on all our extra leftover components, and then we have our finished model. Next then, we have, of course, after building it, a way to paint it. So a very basic paint scheme at the start. We want to base coat the entire Griff Charger with Corax White, 3 layers. And then we're going to coat the actual Lord Aquilor himself with Retributor armor, picking out all his armor, and that is what he looks like undercoated. Next, we're going to start picking out some of the other colors. So Carntor blue is used for the blanket under the saddle, the armor plates on the Stormcast. Abaddon black is used for belts, straps, and the joints in between the armor, as well as gun casings. Avalanche Sunset is picked out for the beak of the Griff Charger, and we pick out some gold details on it as well with Retributor armor. There's quite a few small details scattered across the models, so just take your time picking them out. We're then using Corax White to pick out the hair and the face of the Lord Aquilor, as well as the Aether compass there. Then we're using Caddishan Flesh for the cloak, the fur, and the bedroll there as well. Finally, Wraithbone for any parchment, and also to layer up the face. And Fist on Red for the plume. Then Leadbelcher for any of the blades and parts of the gun as well. Shading the model, we're going to finally use a Griff Charger Grey, which we got last issue. And we're using this to shade all over the Griff Charger's body. And then that is our finished model currently. Would have been nice if they put an Agrax Earthshade wash over here, but perhaps they're going to save that for later. Give us some extra stuff to paint at a later date when we haven't got so much to do. Yeah. Alright. Next up then, we have our Raw Scroll for the Lord Aquilor. So he has a heavy bolt storm pistol, 12-inch ranged, 4 attacks, 3+ to hit, 3+ to wound, -1 rend, and a single damage. Then he has a whole swathe of melee weapons. So the actual Lord Aquilor himself has a Starbound Blade and Shock Hand Axe. So the Starbound Blade is 3 attacks, 3+ to hit, 3+ to wound, -1 rend, and 2 damage. While the axe is only 2 attacks, 3+, -1 and 2 damage. And then we have the Razor Beak and Claws of the Griff Charger. So 3 attacks, 3+ to hit, 3+ to wound, -2, but only 1 damage. So we have the rules for mount from the previous issue. So this unit's Griff Charger is armed with beaks and claws and counts as a mount for all purposes of the rules. And we have the Ride the Winds Etheric, which is a rule that all of these Vanguard units have. So instead of picking this unit to make a normal move or retreat, you may say it will ride the winds. If you do so, remove this unit from the battlefield and set it up on the battlefield 1 inch away from all terrain features and objectives, and more than 9 inches from all enemy units. So yeah, it allows them to get pretty nippy and flash around the battlefield and strike at the enemy when they least expect it. So yeah, we got a rule here for Ride the Winds. So he starts a turn in combat with the Gut Rippers. Instead of falling back normally, he zips over 9 inches out of the way. Then we have Surface Tension for our mission. So we have the Lord Aquilor, Stormstrike Chariot, 5 Vindictors, Xandar's Truth Seekers, and the Knight Arcanum. On the Order side, and on the Destruction side, the Kilbross, the Stabgrot, Swampcrawler Shaman, and Potgrot, 10 Gut Rippers, 10 Hobgrot Slitters, and the Slogoth. And yeah, we're using both mats. We have pretty chunky deployment zones and 3 pieces of terrain marking out the middle of the battlefield there. And yeah, so at the end of the 5th battle round, see how many models you have within 3 inches of Primal Layer scenery piece. If you have more models than the opponent, you control that piece, and if you control more Primal Layer scenery pieces than your opponent, you win the game. If neither player controls more Primal Layer scenery pieces than their opponent, the game ends in a draw. So yeah, we're basically fighting over and trying to control the battlefield there. Yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, on to next week's issue, or should I say the next issue from my subscription. We have the Loom Boss. We learn about the Gloomspite Gits, and we learn about heroic actions. So this is the first of our Gloomspite Gits models that we're getting in the collection. We are also getting Zarbag's Gits in issue 28, I think it is. Yeah, pretty cool. Looking forward to that. And in issue 25, we have some scenery. We've got an Azurite Ruin set, so a nice ruined fountain. And it comes with a little treasure chest as well there, so some nice detail to pick out for those of you who like painting terrain. Yeah, I already have a set of this, so those will be going to my subscription partner, who is getting half of the subscription. So yeah, lots to look forward to. So that's it for this video. There we go. Let me know what you think of the Lord Aquilor in the comment section down below. Have you actually used this guy in games? And is he any good? Let me know. It might just save him from my pile of stuff to sell. So yeah. Not much else to say about this. Really nice detailed kit. Quite fun little paint project. If you are following along the magazine, or if you want to take it do it your own way, feel free to. Yeah, enjoy it yourself, and I will see you next time for more Stormbringer magazine reviews. And don't forget, of course, to check all the stuff in the comment section down below. So, thank you again for watching, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.